So, Avont Johnson is here with us, hanging out in the virtual studio. I am so excited to have him join us live on stage. He is an international award-winning filmmaker who started his production company at the age of 9. By the time he reached 12, he had written his first book entitled "You Are Never Too Young." Oh my goodness. And I'm telling you what, when he was 13, he won his first award for a short film titled Lost. Well, fast forward, and Avont Johnson has created over 21 film projects, which a few can be seen on Tubi TV, such as Lost, Predestined, and Maya. Listen, I'm going to introduce and tell you much more about our guest. You're listening and watching to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Don't you move. We'll be right back after this quick intro.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
All right. Hello, everyone, again, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard and seen all across the World Wide Web. Listen, we know that all of the streaming platforms are sending out messages saying, come on in, check out the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. So we're glad to have you. Go ahead and sound off in the comments. Let us know where you are listening from, where you are watching from. We want to certainly shout you out. And we got to give a shout out to Kim and Deborah hanging out over on YouTube. Thank you, girls. You all are always there. And certainly, listen, I can always guarantee you at least one listener. My mom, Betty, is hanging out in the audience. We see you there. Welcome to everyone. So, the goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we are promising that this episode is going to be all about that. And so we want to let you know that the sponsors for this episode, one of our sponsors is hot off the press, my 5th book collaboration, Prepare for Purpose. It is available by pre-order right now. So if you're checking us out at sharvette.com, the links are all there. Or look down in the show notes and you can order Prepare for Purpose. You know, there's a lot of conversation around like figuring out your purpose. What is my purpose? When is my purpose? You know, all of that. Well, how often do we talk about actually preparing for your purpose? Or some of you might be walking in your purpose and you might not even know some of the steps you're taking are all related to your purpose. So you'll hear a little bit more about that in our commercial break. So check out and download and order Prepare for Purpose. Again, my 5th book collaboration featuring amazing women leaders. You don't want to be left out in the sand with that. All right. So let's go ahead and tell you a little bit more about our guest. As you all are tagging friends, tagging young people, I really think this is a really great episode to pull in young people and have them listen in. So again, as mentioned earlier, our guest, Avont Johnson, is with us in the virtual studio, getting ready to come up to the mic. He's a filmmaker, he's an author, a motivational speaker, a writer, and an entrepreneur. And listen, in addition to some of the accolades I've already mentioned, Avont has been honored among industry professionals such as Ava DuVernay, Marvin Sapp, Sidney Poitier, Bishop T.D. Jakes, Harry Belafonte, and listen, the list is going to go on. For the work that he has done in the film industry. And Avont has also been recognized by the following companies for his work in the community and with young adults. And so certainly places like NBC and ABC, McDonald's Corporation, oh my goodness, Essence, BET, and more. And I definitely want to mention, as we get ready to bring Avont up to the mic, and y'all give him a virtual round of applause. We see you coming on in. Thank you. Thank you for the ladies that are in my Facebook group. We see you coming on in. Avont is an advocate in his community and has spoken to over 100 school and youth juvenile centers. Amazing, right? All right. Without further ado, live here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, put your virtual hands together and welcome Avont Johnson up. Hello, Avont. How are you?
Hello. Hi. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for being here and like grabbing some time, because I know your schedule is full, and I went and peeked on your social media. So there's some like congratulations in order. Like there's a Kentucky event that's like sold out.
Yeah.
Like, give us a scoop on that.
Yeah, so yes, so that is our newest project. It's a documentary about me and my family, and what our journey has been. But maybe a little over 13 years now. The ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. But ultimately, it's a documentary about family unity. Even if you are not a family entertainment, it's just a good documentary to sit down with your kids and your family members and just listen to a story about family unity, family empowerment, family love, and everything. So we have our
Right.
first premiere in Louisville, Kentucky
Oh
on
wow.
April the 15th, and it is sold out. So it's completely sold out. It's sold out fairly quickly. I think we
Wow.
just listed it maybe like less than maybe 3 weeks ago, I would say, and it's already sold out. So I'm super, super grateful
Wow.
for that. And I'm always grateful to come to Kentucky. I've done a
Yeah.
lot of things in Kentucky, so I'm super excited to have our first premiere there.
Oh, wonderful. I mean, you know what? Those of us that are in entrepreneurship, and I always say we put things out like there's no guarantee people are going to buy anything. Like there's nobody like
Absolutely.
walking around like guaranteeing it. So it feels really great when it's sold out. And so let me back up, and I'd love to hear kind of like how all of this got started, and thinking back to like that 9-year-old Aaron. Tell me a little bit about kind of like your first, how you even got into all of this.
Ooh, oh wow. Funny story. So I
Okay.
was 9 years old at the time, and my mom, she had just bought this Acer laptop, and she had an old movie maker software on there, and she was trying to put a slideshow together. She couldn't figure it out. I was like, "Well, mom, let me see if I can figure it out." My little
Uh-huh.
9-year-old self. So I stayed up that entire night learning the entire program, and I remember, waking them up the next morning. I said, "Listen, guys, I don't know what this is called, but this is what I want to do." And that was editing at the time.
Uh-huh.
And then I started my production company. So I was the young entrepreneur, the young 11, 12-year-old kid going to everybody's birthday parties and shooting weddings and music
Wow.
videos and, different things of that sort. So I had, like a running production company. So I was still going to school and still doing that. And I remember what kind of just blew my mind was one of my, I believe this was my fourth or fifth music video I have had done at the time.
Uh-huh.
If anybody know of the great legend Miss Betty Wright, with No Pain, No Gain,
Yes.
Miss Betty. So I got a call from Miss Betty because I had worked with her grandson on a music video. I didn't even know it was the relation.
Oh my goodness.
And next thing I know, she called me. She said, "Hey, I seen what you did, for my grandson. I really like the video. I want you to shoot my video for my next project." And that completely just, and I was only like maybe 13 at the time. And you're talking about a
Wow.
Grammy award-winning artist. I was just like, "What is this? What
How
is
did this
happening here?"
happen?
So that was kind of like, the first couple of years of my, I'll say starting of my production.
My goodness. And so then the writing of the books, do you feel like that writing piece was always kind of, there together? And so your first book, which is actually the title of this segment here, You Are Never Too Young. What was the catalyst to say, okay, let me write an actual book, like put the words on paper?
So funny enough, I at first when I started, it was really mainly just editing. Excuse me, you
Uh-huh.
guys, getting tongue tied here.
It's okay.
And shooting. However, I didn't know I had the ability to write. That
Mm.
came out of nowhere, I would say. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise for me because I come from writers. My mom's an author and a songwriter. My brother, he writes as well. So I shouldn't be too surprised. But I remember I was saying, hey, I know I'm not the only young person out here that's trying to start a business or that wants to go in this field of being a young entrepreneur. So why not come up with a book? So me and my
Mm.
mom, she helped me put it together. I was like 12 years old at the time.
Uh-huh.
And we sat there, we put the book together, and that became my very first book at 12 years old. You Are Never Too Young. That book actually went on to do very well, and I'm very, very proud of the success that that book has had, because that book has been in school libraries. I've been told it has been in many different youth centers, and honestly, that's what it's all about for me, is empowering the young people, because I was a young
My
person with a
goodness.
dream, and I just love to see when other young kids go after their dreams. So that was kind of like that first starting of my writing, with the book.
My goodness. And so what would you say to parents that maybe they see something in their child, or their child is expressing a desire to go a certain way? It could be arts, it could be anything kind of in this entrepreneurial space. What do you say to the parent to kind of help them?
Do not be afraid to embrace your child's dream, because I know a
That's
lot
good.
of times, as parents, and I mean, I'm not a parent, but I'm just speaking, as an older figure,
Yes.
we can have our mind already made up for our kids. Like, hey, like,
Mm,
yeah, they're going to do this, or hey, they're going to do that. And a lot of times, they kind of grow up just doing what it is mom says, to do, or what dad says to do. But later, they realize that there were some dreams that maybe they didn't go after. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate, to, what I'm saying, that there were some dreams, that you might have had, when you were
yeah.
younger and when you were a kid. And, if you had the support of your parents to really push you, sometimes you think, well, I could have been here, if my parents
Yeah.
just, would have believed in me. And then you grow older and you're like, hey, let me revisit those same dreams I had, as a young person. Because
Right.
honestly, at the end of the day, we all are young kids at heart that still have
Yeah.
that same dream and passion. So I would say, parents, please do not rob your kids of, that opportunity, and of that learning, journey, because, just as they grow, you are growing with them. And, it's a beautiful journey and a beautiful thing when a parent can really recognize and hone in on, the gifts and abilities of their child, which is why I do not take my parents for granted, not one bit, because I understand, it's
Yeah.
something rare. Not every parent, it's able to do, or is capable to do,
Yeah.
or may not have the time, or, the resources, or however. But at the end of the day, I would say it's still a beautiful thing. So, definitely, I'll say go get behind your kid, because nobody's going to push your child like you are.
Oh, right. Well said. Well said. If you're just coming in, we're chatting here with Avont Johnson, International Award-Winning filmmaker, author, writer, entrepreneur, all of that, and dropping some wisdom. Now, you're past 12, so a few more years past that, and I love. Actually, I think this would be a great time to kind of show one of the trailers
Yes.
for one of the movies that is available. Listeners, if you're on Sharvette.com, or if you're listening to the podcast, hey, podcast listeners, look down below in the show notes. There's a link to Predestined, which is available on Tubi, and we're going to show you all the trailer. It's really, really good. And so, actually, let me show the trailer, and then we'll chat about
Okay.
it. So here we go. We'll just kind of stay.
World most streamed, most listened to, most watched.
Hey, Tally, what's up, man? It's Ted Redeem and Teddy. Yo, Talia.
Hey, Talia.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Talia. What's wrong?
Mom just died.
Your mother will be the church.
This is exactly why I left to help you. Like to help with the church. Devin, this is
Talia Rollins. That girl is a sinner.
How are you going to allow that whore to take over the church? I feel so out of touch with my music.
Look at me. Do you understand what you were asking me to do?
Hands off of me.
You said you got something to say. There's your stage.
He's on my mind.
What you saw today with Talia? That's what we need to win this year's choir competition.
Talia Rollins hasn't had a break. My son is dead because of you. You have no idea what it's like to be me. You just want me to sing in this little choir and act like God has been so good to me. Well, he hasn't. Yes, I was predestined.
Woo! We'll rerun that. The full clip later on in this segment. So like that pulls you right in. And
Oh, wow.
so talk about like the writing and really more the getting that produced and all of that.
Whew, okay. Funny enough, this is another funny story. Predestined was made in 2020, right after COVID was just announced. Yes, we were the
Oh,
crazy production company. However, this is when Hollywood shut down. You know, nobody was really making projects.
yeah.
We said, no, that's not going to be us. We're going to do something. And honestly, Predestined was supposed to be a lot smaller than what it was. And then I think as we just kept building it, you know, it just went from a little story to a musical, now to a big production.
Oh, wow.
I do want to preference, however, everybody, nobody caught COVID on our set. We followed all policy procedures. You know, nobody had got COVID. We was very, very careful, very, very safe. However, yeah, so this project was a passion project of mine because I'm a church boy at heart. I come from the church world, grew up in it, families in it. Basically all I know. But so I really know this story of, you know, being a preacher's kid, you know, and what it's like to really walk, you know, a mile in those shoes.
Yeah.
Because I'm a preacher's kid and my mom's a preacher's kid.
Oh,
Yeah, so I really drew a lot of inspiration from my mom's story to kind of form and create this character of Talia. So with Talia, she basically, you know, the story is about a preacher's kid who grows up to become this big star, and her life gets flipped upside down when her mom dies and she leaves her the church, which is not what Talia wanted her to do.
wow.
So it's very very it's definitely a drama because then we also see we she has a lot of things going on in Hollywood as well because we bounce between entertainment, Hollywood, and then church.
Uh-huh.
Not all just a church film, you all. It's
Right.
honestly I can't play this in church. Let's just say that. I
Right,
cannot
right,
play
right.
this in church. However, you know, the story is there. So we
Yeah.
get to see, you know, the two worlds and this character balance from being mega superstar selling out stadiums to now she's back to this place where she feels this small. And, you know,
Mm.
we really get to see that and unpack those layers. And funny enough, my entire family worked on this project, which
Oh,
is I'm so
wow.
grateful for. What a lot of people don't know, my brother, he wrote all of the music for the film, and
Wow.
he produced it all. He actually recently just won an award at a film festival for best soundtrack for this film for Predestined. My
Wow.
mom, she executive produced it as well as starred in it. My mom actually has a big performance at the end with actually the group, the real group Predestined. That's where I
Uh,
got the name from. My
okay.
mom had a 90s group called Predestined, and it was a gospel group. And I was like, I'm taking that name and we're going to use it here. Yeah, so
I
she's
love
singing in
it.
the film. My dad, he was script supervisor on the project. My little brother, he has a clothing line, and his clothing line is displayed all at the big finale at the end of the film, and it felt really good to do this project, you know, along with all of my family, and we all had our hands in it and created, you know, this story of Predestined.
I love this. I literally was at a conference last week called Traffic Sales and Profit, TSP. Shout out to Lamar Tyler and Ronnie Tyler, who produced it. But one of the speakers was Mr. Dr. Matthew Knowles. And he, Beyonce and Solange Daddy, for those of y'all that know
Right.
who he is. But one of the things that he said that's kind of bringing me back to you was he said they were really intentional about making things family, like anything that they put out, you know, originally kind of building, always trying to tie in and work with family. So it looks like you are in good company there. And so how can people, you know, find out more about the things you all are doing, follow you on social media and all of that?
Definitely. So, guys, to first to see any of the films, you can go to Tubi. They are currently airing on Tubi right now, Predestined, as well as my film Lost that went over to London and we brought back 2 awards for. So that
Yay.
film is on Tubi as well. Also to stay updated, to see any of our past work as well, because there's quite a few out there. You can just
Yeah.
go to aajpfilms.com. You can also follow me on all of my social media at our full government name, everybody. Aaron Avont Johnson. Funny story. I actually had to start using my middle name because Aaron Johnson is very common.
Oh,
So nobody could find me before. So I said,
right.
I gotta be different. I gotta use my full government name. So Aaron Avant Johnson on everything. And that's how you guys can stay updated. Also, I have a webinar, you guys, that is
Yes.
coming out on March the 5th. It's with a great friend of mine who she's one of the writers on the Miss Pat show. that's airing on BET Plus, as well
Yes.
as Lace on All Black, and she's worked on several other TV and film projects. So we are coming together to collaborate to basically give out knowledge and information to basically anybody that's want to get into the film industry, especially for those who want to write for television or want to pretty much get in that space and field. She's there to definitely drop some gems, and I'm there to talk about production and distribution and getting things basically off the ground and running. So we're coming together with this. So for more information on that webinar, once again, you can go to aajpfilms.com, or you can also go to Eventbrite and just search up Breaking Into the Industry webinar, and it will pop right up.
All right, there you have it, Breaking Into the Industry live webinar, March 5th. And is there any age? Can any age participate? Any age, which certainly is a great, lead into kind of these conversations we've been having, that you are never too young. And so as we kind of bring this train around the corner, what are other things that you would say to either people that are younger, that are just feeling like maybe they're too young? They're looking, at you like, man, I'd love to be doing what he's doing, but is anyone going to take me seriously? It's what do you say to that? The young person, it might be sitting beside their mom and their dad watching this on wherever they're watching.
Right. What I would say to that young person is, if you really want to do it, one thing that you have to make sure that you show that you are serious about it, because as young kids, it is very common to say, hey, I want to be a firefighter today, police tomorrow, astronaut on Wednesday, cook on Thursday, so
it's some adults like that. Ouch, ouch, amen, ouch, amen, ouch, amen. But we talking about the young people now, but we don't let the adults off the hook, but y'all listen too.
Right. So I would say make sure that you are sure. Make sure that you are sure, and make sure that you show initiative towards, your dream. Because one thing about it, when I was younger, my mom, this is something she always used to brag about. They had got me this a Mac desktop, and I remember I would have to travel. I didn't have a laptop at the time. This was my only, kind of workforce, but I would have to travel a lot. So I am bringing this large iMac everywhere, and till this day, I've had this iMac for maybe 12 years, and it has one scratch on it, one small scratch.
Wow.
I kept up with that computer for I polished it. I made sure it was kept, all my things were neatly. So that's what I would say to the young kids. Definitely show that you are serious. Once you know that you are serious about whatever it is that you want to go and do, parents, get behind your kids. Support them, push them, love them, because you never know who you are raising. You never know who you are raising. I'm sure Matthew knows, when Beyonce was first born, I'm sure he knows he was going to be the biggest star. Same thing with the Jacksons, same thing with so many greats, so this is what I would say, is that parents definitely support your kids, because you never know who you are raising. You could just be raising the next president, world changer, game changer, the next biggest scholar, musician, whomever. You may be raising the doctor that's going to cure cancer. You never know. So definitely push your kids.
Phenomenal. So you've got the new book. Andy, what is on the horizon? Like, what are anything you can leak to us, hot off the press?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so more family projects. Me and my family, we are releasing a book together, a joint venture. Basically it's like a guide for families who want to get into entertainment. So whether you have children that want to become actors, actresses, musicians, filmmakers, writers, whatever, their field of entertainment is, this book is definitely for you and your family, because it talks about it from all perspectives, from the children's perspectives, the parents' perspectives, as well as you get to know more about our story. So that book will be releasing very, very soon. So I do ask that everybody definitely stay on top of that, because we want to make that a bestseller. We're believing it. So, and then also we have the documentary releasing, Embracing the Dream, as well as we got some other things I just can't talk about just yet. But I will come back to discuss.
Yes. So, we will bring you back for an update. So this has been really delightful just chatting with you and hearing more. And I know that listeners, which our goal is to motivate, excite, and influence. And so I know that there are listeners that are motivated and excited about what you're doing. And so the last question really is, what continues to motivate Aaron Avont Johnson?
Wow. You know, if I'm being honest, I really used to say, I used to say a lot of things used to motivate me. I used to say, you know, self-motivation is a big thing, which I still stand for. But at this current moment in time in my life, if I'm being very honest, I'm shifting from, you know, young Aaron to, you know, adult Aaron now. So, you know,
Yeah.
I haven't pinpointed what honestly still keeps me motivated to still do what
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
You know, however, I still know that I have a passion to do what I do. And I continue to strive for it. I continue to go for it. That's because it's just in me. You know, I definitely believe that when you have a purpose, no matter how many times you try and walk away from that purpose will pull you right back, like light speed back ahead and say, no, this is for you. So, you know, I still get up. I still do what I do because I love what I do. But, you know, at this particular time, I'm still finding out. I'm still discovering this new wave of myself of what is, you
Yeah.
know, what is motivating me at this particular point. But I hope that answered your question.
Yes, that's a great point. I really feel like that when people say, "What is your why?" What is your my why has evolved over the years.
Right.
And so I think that's a great point of the purpose keeps pulling you. Which FYI, those that are listening and watching, this segment is brought to you by our new book collaboration, Prepare for Purpose. And so that was a great little nudge there. You can get that at Charvette.com. And so I'm gonna wrap it up with doing the full clip again. Predestined. They can go to Tubi. They can keep up with you. Your full bio and links are all at Charvette.com and also in the show notes, those that are listening from the podcast version. And Aaron, it's been great chatting with you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Listen, you got to have me back. You got to have me back. I love this.
Yes, we will do it again. We will do it again. All right, listeners, stay tuned. Here you go. Here you go. Check this out and everything about our guests. Check it out.
Around the world, most streamed, most listened to, most watched.
Hey, Callie, what's up, man? Cedric the Entertainer. Yo, Talia.
Hey, Talia.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Talia. What's wrong?
I'm just tired.
Your mother will be the church.
This is exactly why I left. To hell with these people and to hell with this church.
Devin, this is
Talia Rollins.
That girl is a sinner.
How are you going to allow that whore to take over the church?
feel so out of touch with my music.
Look at me. Do you understand what you were asking me to do?
Hands off of me.
You said you got something to say. There's your stage.
He's on my mind.
What you saw today with Talia? That's what we need to win this year's choir competition.
Talia Rollins hasn't had a break.
My son is dead because of you. You have no idea what it's like to be me. You just want me to sing in this little choir and act like God has been so good to me. Well, he hasn't.
Yes, I was predestined.
Woo, Predestined. We got you right. Go check it out on Tubi. Again, Charvette.com, our main website, has a full bio, has all the links and connection points and ways to even follow on Facebook and on Instagram. All the things, right? Well, we are excited that you were with us to hear today. Share this out. I know that there are people on your timelines and your phones or whatever that they need to hear this episode. And it's been great chatting with you here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. If you're new to me, I'm Sharvette Mitchell, a marketing consultant, and I work with entrepreneurs, small businesses, and experts to help them tell the stories of their business through their marketing so that they enrich their lives and grow their businesses. It's a wrap. We'll see you all later on these internet streets. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Catch Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.